All right, so I understand a lot of you guys might be confused by this idea of PAR, which means problem, action, results. Or maybe some of you guys have heard of STAR, which means situation, task, action, results. They both have the same purpose. We kind of use both in a way, but for simplicity, we're going to say PAR stories. Um, the majority of job interviews, as I've mentioned before, aren't aren't going to just go down your resume and say, "Yeah, tell me every single thing here on your resume and just tell me more." Like sometimes they're going to ask you questions that you may not have prepared for, and generally these are behavioral questions, things about situations or problems or challenges that you've gone through in the workplace, and they want to assess how you have handled them. So there's this cool article by Robert Hellman, Forbes magazine, and he has some pretty good tips in here. So he says this: the single most effective thing you can do to improve your odds of getting a job offer is to tell a great story in the interview. Share a vivid example from your experience that illustrates how you can help them. By doing so, you stand out from your competitors and can transform a mediocre interview into a memorable one. I don't know how I can emphasize this more. It doesn't matter if you're the smartest SEO person or you're great at marketing analytics, or whatever other skill. If you can't communicate your value to others, which is really what marketing is communicating value, you're just not going to get the type of offers that you're going to get excited about. So there's no reason why you shouldn't get an offer for a job that you really do deserve, because you guys are smart. You guys are working hard to do well in your junior core classes, and then you'll continue to take more business classes. And it would be a shame if you didn't get a job offer just because you didn't prepare for an interview. So the goal of our class is to help you guys go through a process, go through this critical thinking that is difficult to do on your own time. I understand that. I didn't really like doing PAR stories when um, I was in this class last year, but I noticed a difference when I interviewed. So that's the first thing. So we're going to cover a little bit about like those behavioral questions and just briefly the idea of PAR stories. So I would say top four reasons for it, though, PAR stories in general. Employers want to know about your past. So behavior questions are a good way to handle that, and PAR stories is your way to answer those questions. They want to measure how you can articulate these difficult questions. Like it's difficult to ask someone to talk about a challenge with a teammate and how you provide a solution, not just sat on your hands. So that is part of it. They don't want just content. They want to see how you can articulate those answers. And of course, as I mentioned, the ability to tell a story is a skill, and it's something you have to practice. So the PAR format is going to help you guys do that. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly go over some potential questions that you could actually encounter. So again, I'm just using articles because no point in doing, inventing the wheel. It's already there. Ooh, so it looks like it actually cut it out. So I'm going to go directly to the website then. All right, 1 second, if you bear with me. All right, so in the website, here's an example of the question. Tell me about how you worked effectively under pressure. How do you handle challenge? Give me an example. Have you ever made a mistake? How did you handle it? Give an example of how you set goals. Give an example of a goal you reached and tell me how you achieved it. Describe a decision you made that wasn't popular and explain how you handled implementing it. Give an example of how you worked on a team. What do you do if you disagree with someone at work? Share an example of how you were able to motivate employees or coworkers. Have you handled a difficult situation and how? So those are the type of questions, behavioral questions specifically, that you can be asked, and I can see how these could throw anyone off. But if you prepare yourself with the process we want to show you guys. Hopefully you have reduced that chances very small. So that's pretty much it for now. This is just kind of an introduction to PAR stories, and let's go ahead and move on.